Hey fellow Trek Chatters, happy Valentine's Day. I'm Pit Trekkie, and welcome to another episode of Pittsburgh's Trek Chat. So it's been a little while since my last episode, and in the last episode I reviewed the first episode of the Teran Empire group of episodes from Star Trek Discovery. What I'm going to do in this episode is I'm going to review that whole block of episodes in one episode, just kind of condense everything down into what I call the Teran Empire saga. So picture it. It's the 23rd century in the alternate reality, mirror universe. The Empire controls basically the entire Alpha Quadrant going into the Beta Quadrant. It's even more space than the Federation claims that they've actually explored in the regular universe, Discovery universe. You've got Klingons, Vulcans, Andorians, Tellarites that are leading a rebellion against the Emperor. And then you have a certain little astromycologist that is trying to use the mycelial network for an extra power source, which is going to end up destroying the mycelial network in the process. And that'll leave our weary travelers, our weary group from the Discovery, trapped in the alternate reality. So I wanted to go over some of the personal highlights that I really enjoyed from watching this group of episodes, because they were really exciting. Yes, they look different from what I would expected them to have looked like, but they've changed basically everything about the look of the show. But I thought that the storytelling was very interesting. One of my favorite parts of the whole arc was Empress George. I think Michelle Yeoh played her very perfectly, and I think she and Sonequa Martin Green have really good chemistry together. I'll be honest with you, I was a little terrified of the Emperor myself. I mean, she just was very ruthless and cruel. And, I mean, she was eating other sentient life forms. And, you know, I was really surprised that she actually showed Michael Burnham even the least little bit of leniency and mercy in the episodes. I figured that even though she knew that Michael in her universe had betrayed her, she would carry that on to our Burnham, especially since she doesn't believe in the ideals of the Federation to begin with. So I thought that she would have just kicked her out the nearest airlock, but that never seemed to happen. What really bothered me too was, again, there was this debate about the cannibalism that was possibly going on. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So my thought of cannibalism would be humans eating other humans, or humanoids eating other humanoids. So there were some people who were saying, oh no, that can't be cannibalism because it wasn't a human eating another human, it was eating a Kelpian. Well, to me, it was cannibalism. And if you see it in Burnham's eyes too, she also felt that it was cannibalism. And even just, unfortunately, she had to go with eating the threat ganglia of whatever Kelpian she picked. So that's where I stand on that debate. The one thing that bothered me though a little bit was when I started watching some of the episodes and it kept saying Emperor Georgiou, Emperor Georgiou, Emperor Georgiou. I kept saying to myself, why aren't they calling her Empress Georgiou? If you think back to Star Trek Enterprise in the Mirror Universe episodes in A Mirror Darkly, you know, Sato had the Defiant and she took it back to Earth and she declared herself Empress Sato. So when after about the third time hearing her being referred to as Emperor, I said to myself three words: social justice warrior. And I know that this show in Star Trek is all about progressive ideals and showing equality, but I think they went a little far on this one. I think that sitting there and making it sound like Empress doesn't equal as much power or strength as Emperor is a bunch of nonsense. And I think that didn't really need to be dealt with in the episode. I mean, what's going to come of it next? The Queen of England's going to say, oh, I don't sound more powerful than the King, so I'm going to call myself King Elizabeth. No, it was just pointless and ridiculous. I mean, you want to talk about bigger things, that's fine, but that was just a bunch of nonsense I felt they threw in the episode. So just knock it off with some of that little tiny SJW stuff. Going on to another part of the show that I really liked. I liked the whole thing with Stamets and the alternate Stamets. So it turns out that the alternate Stamets was actually causing our Stamets to actually have views of the mirror universe, and that was kind of fueling some of that weird talk he was having about the forest and finding his way through and the palace. One part that I thought was really interesting, and I called it the Genesis moment, is that when they found that planet, they needed to grow more spores, and they landed on this uninhabited planet and ejected it into the soil, and the whole planet bloomed. It was kind of interesting. It kind of, I thought, was a little fast the way it happened. And like I said, it seemed very Genesis-like from Star Trek 2. But also I really liked about Stamets and the mycelial network is that he was able to save it. Because it did. That was the only way really that they could get home. They tried finding out information on the Defiant. They found out that was classified, but that it was a bust anyway because of the interphasic space. So I'm glad that they were able to bring that back. I'm very interested to see how the mycelial network's going to be continued to be used from this point forward. Also, the episodes with Stamets in the mycelial network with the alternate Stamets, it gave us a great chance to see Culber and Stamets say goodbye. You can tell that the writers have done a really good job, really hard job trying to make sure that they got this relationship right, and you can feel that there's definite love between Stamets and Culber. So I'm wondering, we saw that little green fleck on Tilly in engineering when they got back to the regular universe. I wonder if that's going to be tied into Culber in some way. But from what I'm hearing on After Trek and other little articles on the internet, we haven't seen the last of Culber. And I think he was a very strong character. I wish they wouldn't have just killed him off. But hopefully we'll see a little bit more of him soon. Next thing I liked about the Terran universe is the ships. First of all, I thought it was great that they showed the Defiant, even though they showed it in a weird kind of configuration, didn't look like it was supposed to look like. But I think we got a bit of a ripoff with that. I was hoping personally that the Defiant was going to be the Palace that Stamets was talking about. Even when we saw the photon torpedoes being fired at the rebel planet, they didn't show the ship right away. I was hoping that that was the Defiant. And I feel that we got cheated out of that. We should have been able to see that ship. But on the other hand, we did get the ISS Teran, which was a really interesting ship. It was basically a city ship. Kind of reminded me of the big ship that Snoke was on in Star Wars The Last Jedi. Kind of just like the Emperor's big city ship. I actually thought that big ball, I thought, wait a second, did they harness a small sun or a quantum singularity or something to get them to be able to power that ship? It was interesting that turned out to be the mycelial network, and obviously it was a good way to cause some drama to see whether or not they were going to get home. I still hope that we get some sort of future explanation about the Defiant. Something tells me that we're not going to be not visiting this area of space again. Really, I thought that going into the Mirror Universe this early in the show's run was kind of, I wouldn't have personally picked it. I probably would have done season 2, because in season 1 we're trying to learn our characters as it is, and right now our characters keep changing, they keep dying, so we don't know who's going to live, who's going to survive. We just don't have a concrete crew yet. I'm actually going to go over that in a future episode. Lorca. I'm going to be perfectly honest with all of you. I didn't get that was going to be the Mirror Lorca. I heard a lot of people saying that it was going to be, but I was just saying I hope not. This is a really interesting character. I don't want this to be a Lorca that we don't really know. I want it to be our Lorca. I think it was very interesting how it was very, at least for me, difficult to figure out what his intentions were. I guess I should have known the clues from when he was looking at those timeline streams on the screen in his ready room. So I guess with this Lorca, he served under Emperor George that then defected, and he went to help create the rebellion. Interesting nod here to the situation going on with Trump and in our country when they make the comment, excuse me, make the empire great again. I mean, that was pretty obvious what they were alluding to, which is okay. Again, that's what Star Trek talks about, is politics of the day. I know that there were a lot of Trump supporters that were angry about that. I guess I can see where they might be feeling like they're being a little targeted, but I would just let it go. Not the end of the world. Number 5, Vok and L'Rell. I don't really feel that played a whole lot into the story, except for not so much with the Vok and L'Rell piece, but with the Burnham and Tyler story. I felt that relationship was a little bit rushed. However, I understand where it came from. You got two people that were trying to seek redemption. You had, Vok and Tyler. Tyler, at the time, we thought was actually just Tyler, and that he had the PTSD, but then we found out that he went through this crazy surgery to become Vok and Tyler hybrid so that he could spy on the Federation. And as the rest of the Terran episodes went out, you could tell that he felt really guilty for killing Culber, for not really knowing who he was, what he was becoming. So he became kind of like another Burnham character who wanted redemption. And then Burnham, obviously, she started the Klingon War, so she was trying to find some solace in somebody who would understand her. But beyond that, I don't think it really played much of a role in the Terran Universe episodes, especially with L'Rell. We saw a little bit more with that as the season was ending, and we'll do that in a future episode. One character I really love, and this is probably my favorite character of the whole show right now, is Tilly. Again, like I said in a previous episode, I really believe she's going to end up becoming the Sarah Connor of this TV series. If she's starting out as this weak, meek, kind of timid kind of character, but little things are going to keep adding that are going to make her tough. Maybe not tough as nails and like really cold like Sarah was, but I think you're going to see a lot more of an assertive Tilly coming out then, rather than this little passive, meek one that we've been seeing. I think the start of the transformation of her character was seeing her, the strength that she had in the Teran Empire episodes, with her being Captain Killy. So she kind of had to practice her assertive, aggressive kind of chops. So we didn't see a whole lot of that, but we saw the beginning of it. Also, I think a big character growth for her in the Teran episodes is when Stamets was dying, and they knew that they needed to use the mycelial spores to somehow heal him. And Tilly said, I'm the only one who is going to be able to heal him. I'm the one who understands this the most. I'm the one who's going to take care of this. And she pretty much said that to Saru. I'm doing it, nobody else is. You know, so that was a nice big character chunk of growth for her as well. Which then ended up leading into her saying that she wanted to go into the command track, and she asked Saru if he would sponsor her in that. And of course he said that he would, because he could see the strength in her and the skill and the ability that she has. So I do really think that we're going to start seeing a little bit more of her growth. She's going to be graduating from the academy soon. We'll see. So an overall analysis of the Teran Empire episodes, I thought they were very interesting. They were good. There was good storytelling. Some things I didn't like about it. I didn't understand why they couldn't have a little bit more visual continuity. I mean, they changed everything in Discovery. They changed the 23rd century technology, the uniforms, the ships. You know, why couldn't they give the fans a little bit of a visual tidbit? They could have said, oh, well, it looks like this because it's the alternate reality. I know that they're trying to change everything. They want everything modernized, but I felt they could have given us that little tidbit, us fans that are more canon fanatics. Let's see here. So, what else do I want to say here? So I think that they could have used that for the visual elements. So when they get back in the end of the episode, they skip ahead 9 months, and the Klingon War is almost won by the Klingons. So it would be the last 2 episodes are going to focus on pretty much wrapping up the Klingon War arc, which I'm going to be getting into in my next episode. So that is my episode here. Now I'd like to give you the open channel question for this episode. What are your thoughts on the Mirror Universe episodes? Did you like them? Did you not like them? Do you feel they came too early? Do you feel that it was done and it ended up causing us to not learn enough about our current characters? Just put some comments down below and click the like button. Hopefully you like the episode. I'm going to be trying to get a few more out here shortly. You can watch the show here on YouTube. Click the subscribe channel button. I'd love to get more subscribers. You can follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/PGHTrekChat. You can also follow the Twitter page the Twitter handle is at PGHTrekChat. Until the next episode, I'm Pit Trekkie, and Mayans live long and prosper.